This is Cyndy G, and in this video I am going to show you how to assemble the gingerbread gnome lantern. So this is going to be a very quick and easy project to put together. The sprinkles on the top of the hat, I've already applied the little circles behind the cutouts. That makes that very easy and gives you some cute coloring there. There's very few pieces to put together with these lanterns. That's why I really like these so much. With your panels, you just want to apply your vellum to the back, and you'll just use whatever color you want your lantern to glow. For the gingerbread, it would be cute. Really any color, but brown would be really cute. I've used white. Red would look cute. And you just want to take your panels and you just want to kind of curl them over your finger a little so that they have the shape that you want them to be in to make your lantern rounded. And this will help it not to bend and look like it's more squared off rather than round. So just gently going back and forth because of the vellum, just making sure that I have a nice curve to my pieces. You will want to be careful when you're gluing your vellum on not to use too much glue because you don't want your vellum to look wrinkly in your cutout. So I just use a really thin line of glue and just outline it, and I put a couple of dots in these places here so that these pieces didn't protrude out when it was curved. Okay, so that's prepped. He has a peppermint for the top of his hat. You just glue these two pieces together. And then his nose, mouth, and beard are these three pieces. And the first thing you want to do is glue the mustache on, and you just, line it up to the bottom. You see it fits right on there. And if you wanted to, you could pop up the nose. I would not pop up the mustache because you don't want it to interfere with your panels when you put them through, and you'll see as we get this together why you probably don't want to pop up your mustache. And if you do, I would do it after you put these panel pieces on so you can see if there's actually room to do that. And then I tried to keep this as simple as possible. As far as the design, so that it would go together really quickly. And you know, one of the nice things about these lanterns is you can take them apart and store them flat. So you don't have to worry, you don't have to worry about your storage with these because you can store them just like this, flat. In fact, I have several of my ornaments put up in a drawer with my cards because they can be taken apart and made flat. So his little cuffs to his sleeve, You can see, and because he's a gingerbread man, I did not make this one hands. I left him all like a cookie. So he does not have like an extra piece for hands like my other gnome lanterns do. Okay, so it's that simple. And then you've got your pieces here. So you want to start with the one that has just the slit in the top and the bottom. And you just put these together. Like that. Okay, and then you want to come in here with this one. Maybe I want to do this one first. Hang on. I think this one needs to go first. So that it can go up high enough. Yeah, so I haven't put one of these together in a little while. So it's the one that has the slits on the top and the bottom goes in before this one. And now that I look at it, that makes sense, because you need the slits that are in the top and the bottom so that you can put the next piece in. Okay, so here he is. And then his mustache, I kind of designed it so that this top of the face here is lining up here with this straight edge. Okay, you see that there? It just kind of lines up like that. So there is plenty of space here. I can see now if you wanted to pop up your mustache or even this whole piece. Okay, and then the next piece you're going to install are these, and these can be a little bit tricky, but you're just going to line up these slits into each little insert that are on there's going to be one for each section. Okay, so it can be a little cumbersome. This is the hardest part about these lanterns, is just lining up these pieces. And I'm sorry, I'm struggling. If you kind of fold them, curl it towards the center so that you can fold them up in there, I found that to be the easiest way for me to get them in. And now this one is here and it shouldn't be. So you just have to find the way that's easiest for you, but make sure that they get set all the way into those notches for them so that you don't have your lantern coming apart every time you pick it up. And then always the second one is hardest because you already have, now everything is kind of stiffer when you start putting the second one together. The bottom or the top, whichever way you start. So just know that you just have to keep fiddling to get it to go in. And again, you do want to make sure that you get it into the notches, okay? And you may not be able to see it all the way here, but now I do have each one of these in the notch. I don't have to worry about it falling out. And then you just insert these. Now there is like a notch for these too, so when you put it in, You just have to give it a little tug just to make sure it snaps into place. It's not too tight, but tight enough so that the gravity doesn't make your panel pieces fall down. Okay. I live in a humid climate. I live in North Carolina, so I have to think about what paper does as the humidity increases. And I was having trouble with that. I was having trouble when I just had a simple slide in without the notch, that if it got at all humid, my panels were curling and falling right out. So it's not super tight. It's just enough that if it curls more, it stays in place. Okay, and then I think I am going to use a small piece of foam tape here to pop up my mustache, since I have plenty of space. I get these foam squares at the Dollar Tree, which is now $1.25. And again, like I said, I'm just lining that up with that part there. And then you would put in the rest of your panels, and there is your gingerbread gnome lantern. Thank you for joining me.